Okay, so let's get into it. So, you want to know the secret weapon to my skin? It's pretty straightforward, and it is this. This is Adapalene. Now, this is a specific brand, but the main ingredient is Adapalene. So for those of you who are not familiar with the ingredient Adapalene, Adapalene is a retinoid. If you've heard of Retin A, which is also called tretinoin, it's more or less kind of a step down from that. But the benefit of Adapalene is that it is available over the counter. You do not need a prescription for it. And the availability, the percentage that is available is 0.1%. They also have a 0.3%, but you have to have a prescription for that strength. So as I said, Adapalene is available over the counter, which makes it accessible to everybody. You do not need a prescription for it. And there are two popular brands on the market. One is Differin and one is La Roche-Posay. Now the La Roche-Posay is what I'm currently using, but I started off using Differin. They are identical with the exception of the thickening agent, which is the very first ingredient on both of them. So it just is more or less of what is available to you and how you would choose which brand to use. But I've switched back and forth and I haven't seen any marked difference in using both brands. Now, this has been the product that has made the most difference in the overall health of my skin. I suffered from more hormonal acne, hyperpigmentation, those type of issues, and that's what. But it was constant. I could never get over the hump where I wasn't breaking out, and most of my breakouts were on my cheek, and maybe occasionally on my forehead, but the majority of it were on my cheeks. So in April of last year, April 2021, I started researching what I could do to fight this. Do I go to a dermatologist? What products can I use to help fight this acne? Because it was making me self-conscious about the way my skin looked, and I didn't feel confident going without makeup or even having makeup on, because you could still see the bumps underneath the skin. So using Adapalene specifically for me was for acne, but another benefit that I wasn't really expecting was that it was also anti-aging. So what does Adapalene do? Adapalene, what does Adapalene do? It sounds kind of funny. Adapalene basically kind of regulates and normalizes the turnover of your skin cells. It brings fresher and newer skin cells up to the surface. With acne, the turnover of the skin is kind of in hyperdrive and overdrive, so the skin doesn't have enough time to be able to slough away the dead skin cells. So then you are left with dead skin cells, oil, dirt, bacteria being trapped in the pores, and that causes breakouts and causes acne and flare-ups and inflammation and hyperpigmentation. So by using Adapalene, it helps to just normalize everything, and it helps to, because the skin is in a more normal turnover rate, the sloughing of the dead skin cells happens a lot more readily, and in turn your skin will start to clear up. You'll have less acne, less breakouts. It also helps with hyperpigmentation. So for those of you who aren't familiar with this term, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation is typically used when we're talking about breakouts. So it helps with that type of issue as well. And specifically for, African American skin, we hyperpigment very well. Any type of inflammation to our skin causes dark spots. So this is going to help with that issue as well. Now that the turnover of your skin cells has been normalized, like I said earlier, it also helps with the anti-aging process. So what I've noticed considerably is that I have less fine lines. I didn't really have any wrinkles, but it is proven in their studies to show that it can help with fine lines, wrinkles. If your skin is looking dull or sallow or just not bright and vibrant, it also helps with that. There's been times when people have asked me, you know, what I use on my skin and why my skin is glowing, and this is typically when I don't even have any makeup on. And the main product I tell them that I use is the Adapalene, because your skin reflects light a lot more readily, so it just looks brighter, clearer. It just has a beautiful sheen to it. That's been my experience, and the information that, you know, I've seen and read and everything, you know, supports that. Another way it helps with the anti-aging is that it helps to stimulate collagen production, and collagen is what is responsible for giving our skin the plumpness and the firmness that we have when we're young. As we get older, we lose our collagen. So using Adapalene or using any type of retinoid like tretinoin, which is, you know, kind of the mama of all the retinoids, helps to stimulate collagen production and gives us a more, you know, youthful, plump appearance to our skin. Now, I researched for quite a while before I decided to start Adapalene, and the main reason that it took me a while to start it is because of the side effects. The main side effect for a lot of people is that it can make your skin get worse before it gets better. And I did experience that. But, you know, I had some breakouts, you know, on my chin, on my cheeks. But the good thing is that because it was turning over those dead skin cells so much more quickly, the breakouts didn't last as long. So, but that is the downside of starting a retinoid, Adapalene, that your skin is more than likely going to break out and get worse, because people don't realize that acne has been brewing under your skin for weeks. It's not just, it just pops up all of a sudden. All of that has been going on for a month or two. So what the Adapalene does, because it's speeding up, normalizing the turnover of the dead skin cells, all that stuff that was down there waiting to come up, it just brings it up a lot faster, you know, but it also clears it a lot faster. So for me to really see a marked improvement in my skin, you know, I started in April, and probably around the end of the summer, like August, is when I really saw a noticeable difference in my skin. My skin began to clear up significantly. The breakouts pretty much were, you know, were gone. I didn't have any significant breakouts. You know, I still have hormonal acne, but it's minimal. I might have when I say minimal, not only in the frequency, but also in the size of the pimples. They are so small that it's not even anything to worry about. And pretty much because I'm using the Adapalene regularly, they go away pretty quickly. So that's definitely been a benefit. So here I am, it is October 2022, so I've been using this for 18 months. And I'm glad that you have to use it consistently. This is not meant to be a spot treatment. You can't put it on a pimple like a benzoyl peroxide spot treatment and expect it to work. You have to use this regularly. A lot of people will start out, and myself included, start out using it only 2 or 3 times a week. My initial routine was I used it a night, didn't use it for 2 nights. Used it one night, didn't use it 2 nights. And then as I felt like my skin was tolerating it, then I was able to bump up the frequency, and I would use it every other night instead of one night, 2 nights, one night, 2 nights. And then eventually I was able to tolerate using it every night. And you only use this at night. This is not for daytime. You use it as a part of your nighttime routine. So cleanse your skin, put a pea size, and when I see pea size, a pea size, more is not better. You do not need to use a huge amount of this for it to be effective. I know that for a fact. A pea size is what they instruct you to do, and that's what you should do. More is not going to give you better results. So you use this at night, and then you put a moisturizer over it. Now, over the past 18 months, I've been able to incorporate other products into my routine, and that includes day and night. I use products that contain ingredients that help to treat hyperpigmentation. So I use products that have azelaic acid in it, niacinamide, vitamin C, kojic acid, tranexamic acid, alpha arbutin, and a multitude of other things. Now, I'm not using each thing individually. A lot of my treatment products have these things together, so they might have 3 or 4 of the ingredients that I listed because they work synergistically, they work together. So in addition to the Adapalene helping with the turnover of my skin cells, I'm also treating any potential hyperpigmentation, so it reduces it significantly, where for me it's, it's not even noticeable, and I feel confident even going without makeup, which, last year there was no chance that I was going to do that. If you are considering using Adapalene, do your own research because everybody's skin is different. I watched a lot of YouTube videos. 2 types of videos I watched. I watched personal stories of people that, use Adapalene, and then I also found two initially, but I follow a couple more dermatologists that talk about every skincare problem. The 2 in particular that I followed initially and still follow to this day, they talk about issues that affect people of color because we have more melanin in our skin, because inflammation can be the enemy to our skin and cause a lot of problems. They address those things. So Alexis Stevens is who I recommend, and Dr. Vanita Rattan. They are excellent. They're both board certified dermatologists. And then also I like a lady, her name is Dr. Dray, and that's D-R-A-Y. And then I watched 2 dermatologists on a YouTube channel called Doctorly. I do not know their names, but if you've watched any YouTube videos about skincare, I'm sure you've probably seen them. You may have seen all of them. But I would highly recommend watching and getting as much information as you can about this before you dive in. There's lots of ways that they talk about specifically on how to address some of the problems that can happen, like irritation, dryness, how to deal with some of the probable breakouts that you will have during the process of using this. But I highly recommend doing your own research. Just don't start using anything without knowing as much information about that, because this is your face, it's your body, and you just want to do the best thing for it. So do your research. Please let me know if you found this video helpful, and then go ahead and check out my evening routine, which kind of addresses acne, breakouts, and anti-aging. So I will see you back here the next time. Bye-bye.